Alright, we're going to learn a grammar pattern that I recently learned, and it is 不上来, and so it usually a verb precedes it, so it means can't verb, whatever that verb is. So I have the definition here. The pattern is verb plus 不上来 means that you're unable to do the verb, or you can't do the verb. The point is to indicate a lack of success of whatever the verb is. So a similar phrase to verb plus 不上来 is 不能 plus that verb. And that still just means can't verb. And some notes I have is that not all verbs can follow this pattern. So if you use a verb like 吃 to eat, so 吃不上来, then people will say, I've never heard of that. So not every verb can follow this pattern, and since I recently learned this pattern is also new to me, so I can't really explain which verb can be used with this pattern and which verbs cannot. But the sense I've been told is that there's usually like an upwards motion with the verbs that can be used with this pattern. And that's a kind of sense that's hard to get, but I write here that only with a bunch of experience that you can get used to hearing which verbs are used with this pattern, and get that sense of which verbs can be used and cannot be used. And the last thing before we get to examples is that so verb plus 不上来 means can't verb. So the opposite of that is can verb. And how we say that is verb plus 的上来. So just notice the one character difference between 不上来 and 的上来. So now with our examples, have a little note to kind of understand the pattern better. Verb plus 不上来. Think of it as answering the question, can you verb? So I have an example, can you climb it? And for our first example, you can think of the question, can you say it? So 我说不上来 is I can't say it. And that's the same thing as saying 我不能说. They both mean I can't say it. Our second example is uses the verb 爬 to climb, and our example is 我爬不上来, which means I can't climb it. And something I noticed is usually when I think of climbing, it's like climbing a mountain or something, but you can also use it as climbing kind of the ranks in a company or something. Our third example is uses the verb 答 to answer. So it's 我答不上来, so I can't answer it. And our last three examples are actual example sentences. So example number 4 is 我一上台就一句话也说不上来了. So that means 我一上台, once I get onto the stage, 就 kind of then, and then 一句话 means like one word. It's this a word part in our English sentence. 也说不上来, so it's I can't say like even one word. Number 5 is 我爬不上来, 这个公司的人太多了. So our verb is 爬, so it's 爬不上来, so I can't climb, and it's indicating like the ranks within a company. And so it's 这个公司, this company, 的人, the people in this company, 太多了, there's too many of them. So this second part just means there's too many people in this company. And our last example is 这个问题太难了，谁也答不上来。So 这个问题 is this problem. 太 means two here. Then 难 means hard. So 这个问题太难了 means this problem is too hard. Then we have 谁也答不上来. So we see our example that's used with the verb 答 to answer. So 答不上来 is can't answer. And the English translation is nobody can answer it. And so we don't see like a can't answer because there's this pattern 谁也 and then the phrase that follows it is negative. So 答不上来 means can't answer. That's why in the English translation it's nobody if you had like a positive part. So if we use the positive, the opposite meaning with 的上来, and we said 谁也答得上来, that means everyone can answer it. So this changes, the subject changes because this phrase is now positive. So that's the end of the blog post that I wrote, but I wanted to just go to another post where I first encountered the grammar phrase. So what this post is there's a show called You Are My Glory, and I'm kind of transcribing the sentences episode 1 and just writing it down and then kind of going over it. So I go over the vocab and the grammar. I just try to write some notes about it. So if you click on this link, then this will send you to a YouTube link that starts at this timestamp, and then you can actually see what part of the show I'm talking about. So the grammar point we've been going over is here. So verb plus 不上来. So you notice over here, then I have a bunch of vocab for all the vocab that's in the sentence, and then below that I have my notes about the sentence, just trying to explain the vocab and grammar and any small details that are good to know. And I also just go over the grammar point really quickly here. But we're just going to be reading the sentence here. And so if you click here, you can see the context, which is the main actress is having a flashback about when she was in school, and then she's taking a test, and then she's just kind of reading out the question. So the question is 一颗草莓多少卡路里? So 一颗草莓 is one strawberry. 草莓 is strawberry, and 颗 is the measure word for it, and 一 is the quantity of it. So 多少 is like how many or how much, and then 卡路里 is like I think it's called a Chinese loan word, loaned from English. So there's not really a good word for calorie in Chinese, so they kind of borrow it with just some characters that just sound like calorie. So 一颗草莓多少卡路里? How many calories are in a strawberry? 这么难? Kind of like, this question's this hard. And then 这学生也答不上来吧? So this 这 is referring to the question, the T, that's 这么难, the hard question. And then 学生 it literally translates to learning God, but it just means like top student or someone who's really good at studying. and then 也打不上来. The 也 kind of is this even part. Usually they use 都, so you can also say 这学生都打不上来吧. But sometimes they use 也. And then we have our grammar pattern, 打不上来. So even a top student couldn't answer this. So I hope this helped. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you